Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. Today we're going to be talking about building VCP with BNI Connect. As everybody knows, VCP stands for Visibility plus Credibility equals Profitability. One of the things that BNI Connect can help you with is by having a full and complete profile. This profile is displayed in a number of different places, both on the public internet, on the regional websites, on the chapter web pages, and on the national websites, as well as to about 150,000 other BNI members around the world in the members-only portion of BNI Connect. We're going to talk about today where all of this information is stored, what is seen where, and how to make sure that your profile is up to date with all the most current information. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started here. This is a live webinar. That means that if you have any questions as we're going through any of the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. The best way to do that is through the questions panel here in the GoToWebinar software. If you type your question in, I'll see it pop up on the screen, and I should be able to answer that right away. This webinar is scheduled for about 30 minutes, about 30 minutes to go through the material today. That being said, I'm always happy to stay on the webinar as long as you have questions. So if you have any questions whatsoever, just know that we aren't necessarily set to that 30-minute limit. I'd be happy to hang around and answer those questions. This webinar is being recorded. All of the webinars are recorded. They're made available in two different places. The first place is on the support site. You can either go to support.bniconnect.com, or you can go click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect here, and that will take you over to the support site. You'll see our list of upcoming webinars. Then you'll also see in the chapter training and documentation section the webinars broken out month by month. So, for example, all of the July webinars have been posted. You can go through and review any one of them. You can share them with your chapter members. You can also find them on the YouTube channel. They're all hosted up at youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And this has a number of other materials and a number of other videos as well. So we have our recorded webinars as well as some things like educational moments. We have very short 3 to 5 minute videos that show you specific things. So I'm getting a note from Fred saying that the transmission is a bit garbled. So might be an internet connection on either my part or your part. So I apologize for that. Hopefully the recording will come through a little clearer. All right, so let's go on with the material for today. So again, this is building VCP with BNI Connect. So we're going to talk about where your profile displays and how to update the profile as well. So Colin says, yes, it's a little slow and garbled. I will try to make sure that I speak slow. It might just be the internet connection, so there might not be too much I can do about it. Let me see if I can reset the connection here real quick. I apologize. All right, so let me see if that helps any. If not, I'm just going to go through it. I apologize for any of the technical issues. All right, so moving on. Your member profile. Let's talk about all the different places that it is displayed. So first of all, it is displayed on your country website. So here in the United States, we have a national website. It's called BNIamerica.com. And if I go to BNIamerica.com, or anybody out there on the internet goes to BNIamerica.com, they could find any of the United States members. So if I went to find a member and I did a search for myself, let's say, just by my name, it would search across the United States, and here's my match, and here's my profile. So you can see that it has my name, my picture, all the information about me, my business, and my TOPS profile. Now, this profile is also displayed on your regional website. So the U.S. site will have all the U.S. members. If I'm just looking for other members here in Rhode Island where I have a membership, I could go to bniri.com and I can do the same thing. I can go to find a member. And if I do a search for myself, again, we'll find my profile. And it has the same information there. Every chapter in BNI Connect also has a chapter web page. So if I go to my chapter web page, which is bniri.com, Wakefield, and I take a look at the members here, you'll see my name is on the list of members. I'm a member here since 2002. And you'll see my profile again. So this is the public profile, and it is available in 3 distinct places. Again, on the national website, on the regional website, and on the chapter pages as well. Now, what if you haven't filled out your profile yet? So let me go up to AntarcticReferrals.com. This is my test region up in Antarctica. And let's do a search for some members up here. Let's go to a chapter. And let me take a look at my Burr chapter. It's a cold place up there. And if I take a look, let's see, we have Bob Jones up here. Now, Bob Jones hasn't filled out his profile yet. So you can see it has some information about Bob. It does have his address, and it does have his phone number in here, as well as his company name. But when it comes to VCP, this has a little bit of visibility, but it doesn't really build the credibility. So if we're looking to really set a good first impression with people that are trying to find us out there on the internet, what we really need to do is to fill out our profile. Now, let's log into BNI Connect by going to the members only portion. I can click the link on the regional website or just go to bniconnect.com. Now, when people are searching for you here in BNI Connect, they're going to be using the magnifying glass, and I can do a search for myself here as well. And this is a members only portal. It is searching across the entire globe, so all 140,000 or so, almost 150,000 members worldwide. And if we find my profile here, you'll notice the profile looks a little bit different. It has more information in it. So I can share more information with my fellow chapter members. You'll notice it has all my roles here. It does have my picture. It has my status message. It has my keywords. More phone numbers are available here, as well as my full address. I can share my bio tab and share my 60-second presentations, my gains profile, my tops profile. Note that the bio is not necessarily publicly shared. Only your leadership team can view the bio. If I go to the Connections tab, I can see all of the people that I'm connected with, just like I could see all the people that you would be connected with. We're also sharing our testimonials here on the inside of BNI Connect. We can share a photo library of up to 20 different images. We can see what groups each other are participating in. And finally, the training history. Now, how do we update all of this information to make sure that we're showing the best things to the people that are looking for us? So I'm going to go back and click on the Home button. And there's 2 ways to get into your profile to update your profile. The first of which is you can click on the Options button up here in the upper right-hand corner and click on My Account. So go to the Options button and click My Account. The second thing that you can do is click on Update Profile My BNI page. This will take you into your profile where you can make changes to it. Now you'll see that the profile is broken into a number of different tabs along the top here. So we have our main profile, we have our user profile, we have the contact details, the account settings, the bio tab. If you are a director consultant or you hold a regional role, you'll also have a director profile. And finally, your training history. So let's take a look at these tabs and what information is on each of these. The main profile is pretty straightforward. It just has your title, your name, your company name. In some places, you can directly edit your company name. In others, you do have to request that that change is made by your regional office. If you'd like to make a change, You can either click the edit button or click the request change button, which will send an email to your regional office to allow them to make that change. It does show what your industry and classification is listed as well as your chapter and the status of your membership, whether it's active or late. The next two sections are the My Business and the keywords. Now, the My Business description, that allows you to type in, really the way I look at that particular field is that it's kind of like your elevator pitch. So if you think about the open networking section of your meeting, where you might be meeting with visitors and with guests and people that you've never met before, that's what I like to put in the My Business. Usually just a couple of brief sentences that describe what your business is all about. Now, keeping in mind that this is text, you don't want to write a big long novel about your business because people are just not going to read it, but just a couple of sentences. The other thing that you can do in this particular portion in this field is one of the few fields where we do allow you to paste HTML code. So if you do have, let's say, a YouTube video that explains your business, as long as you use the embed code, the iframe code, you could put that in here and display a short video on your profile as well. Again, it does need to be hosted somewhere else, but you can put the link to that video there. Now, the keywords section is what allows people to find you when they don't know your name. A lot of times when people are searching for services, especially when they travel and they'd like to use another BNI member, or let's say that they have a grandmother in another state or a friend in another state and they're looking for a referral, people are going to be looking by your keywords rather than by your name. So you do want to be very creative when it comes to the keywords. Now, of course, it is going to search by your classification and your industry. However, it will supplement that with the keywords. So in some levels, the keywords are almost more important than what you have listed as your industry and classification. So you want to put in some different words and permutations of words there. For example, if you are an accountant, you may want to consider putting accountant and accounting in case they're searching for one term or the other. Another strategy for keywords is to put locations in. It will search by your address. So whatever is listed as your address, it'll use that city and that state for when they're searching for you. But if you'd like to specifically be found in other areas besides what's listed on your address field, you can put those in as well. So for example, here, I'm a member in the Rhode Island region. If anybody knows anything about Rhode Island, it is a very, very small state. It's only about 20 miles wide by about 40 miles long. What that means is that a lot of small businesses here in Rhode Island, they do business in the bordering states. So Connecticut and Massachusetts, for example. So what I did in my keywords is I put in the abbreviations for Massachusetts and Connecticut. So if they're looking for my type of work in Connecticut and Massachusetts, I'll show up on the list as well. This works for big states. So if you're in California, or you're in Texas, you're in Arizona, you may want to put different areas, geographic areas, that you would like to be found in as well. If you make any changes on this page, do make sure to click the Update button to save those changes, and you'll see a little saved box appear at the bottom for a few seconds. Moving on to the next tab, we have the User Profile tab. Now, here's where if you need to change your username, for example, if you had set your username to your email address and your email address changed, you do have to log in with the old username once, but then you can go ahead and change this username to anything that you'd like to. You can also change your password from this page. The memorable question and answer, that's the challenge question. In case you forget your password, it will ask you your challenge question. So for example, I'm going to open up a new window here. If I wanted to go and log into BNI Connect and I forgot what my password is, I could click on the Forgot Password or Username. I type in my email address and the little CAPTCHA code there. Make sure that I'm not a robot. It will then find me. It will ask me my question, and as long as I answer that question correctly, it will allow me to log in and reset my password right away. So do make sure that your answer is It is case sensitive, by the way, case and space sensitive, so put something in there that you'll remember and be able to recall if you ever forget your question. You can choose whatever language you would like BNI Connect to display in. It is translated into about 45 or so different languages, including a dozen different versions of English. This also controls things like the way the date is displayed. So if you happen to be from, notice we have a couple of people on the call here in the UK. If you happen to be from the UK and the dates are displaying month, day, year instead of day, month, year, make sure that you're choosing the GB version of English as opposed to the US version of English. You can also set your time zone and upload any profile images or company logos. So if I wanted to, let's say, change or upload my company logo, I would click the button. I could then click on the magnifying glass. Let's say I wanted to change my company logo here. Then I just need to go on my computer, find my correct logo, and let's say I'd like to change it to this black-based logo. I can do that. I can crop it if I need to, and then click Save, and now that new logo will appear on my profile. Rob said, what's the best format for the company logo? The best format, I choose to use either JPEGs or PNG files. One question that came up earlier today, the one thing it doesn't support is transparent backgrounds. So if you do have a transparent background, you are going to need to resave it without that transparent background, and it will upload correctly. So does that help, Rob? I don't have the exact dimensions offhand for what the proper dimensions are. I can get those to you if you ever wanted to find out that answer. Just email me at support@bniconnect.com, and I'd be happy to send that information to you. All right. I'm glad that helped, Rob. All right, moving on to the next tab. The next tab is the Contact Details tab. Very important thing, you'll notice the very top option here says, show me on BNI public websites. Show me on BNI public websites. If this box is unchecked, so let's say I uncheck this box here and I save it. If that box is unchecked, you will not appear on any of the regional or national websites. So even if I go to find a member and I search by my name, I will not be found at all unless that box is checked off. So do make sure if you do want to be found on the public websites, that is your opportunity to be found. Make sure that that is checked off. And I definitely want to be found, so I'm going to put a check in that box and save it. Assuming that this box is checked, you can also choose which of the other pieces of information you would like displayed on the public website. If there's a checkbox next to it, it'll be displayed. If not, it won't be. You can put in all of your various phone numbers, direct, home, mobile, pager, voicemail, toll-free, fax. You can update your email address yourself if you ever need to. That can be changed here on this page. Your website and also all of your social media links as well. You can put two addresses in the system, the address and the billing address. Now, whenever the regional office wants to get in touch with you, if they need to send you a letter or anything like that, they are always going to use the billing address. But you can choose to put a different address in there if you would like to, which you can also choose to show on the websites your main address, your billing address, or neither address. All right, I'm going to skip over the next tab for a second and come back to it. But the tab after that is the bio field. This has all of the different personal information about you. This is kind of your credibility building portion in BNI Connect. Now, the bio is primarily used by your chapter secretary treasurer, usually before your keynote or 10-minute presentation in the chapter. So if you'd like to not be chased down with a piece of paper to fill out, you can fill this out in BNI Connect, and they can use this before your presentation. Again, this has the same things that they would hand out to you on that form: your years in business, previous types of jobs, spouse, children, pets, hobbies and interests, city of residence, your years in that city. I need to update that to 12. Your burning desire, something No one knows about you and you're key to success. The next two things on the list are your commercials. Now, why would you want to bother putting any commercials into BNI Connect? Well, one of the reasons that you would want to do that is that if people are looking at your profile, you could, if you remember back in the beginning, you could see my bio tab and you could read my commercials. One of the great things about BNI Connect is that there are, again, about 143,000 or so other members here in this one integrated system. So that means that, I would say 142,999 of them will never be at your weekly BNI meeting. However, you can still share that information, those commercials, those 60 seconds, with other people that are viewing your profile. The other reason is if you ever have a last-minute situation where you're not going to be able to show up to a chapter meeting and you have to call in, let's say, a last-minute favor for a substitute, you could always, if they're another BNI member, you could direct them over to your commercial in order to be able to have something to present on your behalf at that chapter meeting. Or you could go into BNI Connect, copy it and paste it and email it to your substitute without having to write something from scratch. The gains profile, if you think back to your member success program, the gains profile, which stands for goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills, is something that we should be filling out and that we should be sharing with another member or reading the other person's gains profile before you sit down to a one-to-one with that person. This really does help to build credibility right off the bat. It also helps to assist in steering that dialogue of the one-to-one in different directions than, just sitting down and talking about the weather or how the local baseball team did last night. This helps to open up other avenues of conversation and build that credibility faster. The TOPS profile is your ideal referral, top product, top problem solved, favorite BNI story, and ideal referral partner. One thing to keep in mind is that the TOPS profile is one of the fields, along with the My Business description and your contact details, that shows on the public websites. So if you're doing this and you only have a very short amount of time, I would fill out this TOPS profile first. So that's the very first thing that I would do is fill out your My Business and your TOPS profile. That way your public profile will have this information on there, and then if you need to, come back and do the rest of the information. As I mentioned, if you are a director, you can put director-specific information up here. This will allow, this profile appears on the Contact Us page of the regional website, so you can show director-specific information. And finally, your training history. You don't have the ability to update this directly, but if you find something that is missing or something that is wrong on this particular page, just go ahead and give your regional office a call, your director consultant, your regional admin, your executive director, and they can manually add trainings to this for you. All right, again, I'd like to skip back here to the account settings tab. The account settings is really your permissions in BNI Connect, how you would like other people, when they find you using the magnifying glass, again, the members only profile, what information you'd like to share with them. Would you like to share the bio tab to everybody, just your connections, or nobody? The same thing, do you want to share your connections, your testimonials, your picture gallery, your email, or your contact details? Again, you can choose to share that with everybody, as I have, or you can share them with just your connections or with nobody. The rest of the information on this page has to do with your email notification settings. The first one is if you're participating in the groups, in the discussion groups in BNI Connect. I personally like to be notified any time that a post is done in any of those groups that I participate in. You can also choose once per day, once per week, or to not be emailed at all. If you'd like your social media notifications to go to a different email address than the one is listed in your profile, you can type that in here. For example, I'd like this to go to my business address as opposed to the support email address. And you can forward your BNI Connect messages. Your BNI Connect mail, your connection requests, and your recommendation requests. As always, click Update if you made any changes. And those are all of the tabs on the BNI Connect profile. There is one more thing. If you remember, there is a photo sharing tab on your profile. To access that, click on Network, Picture Gallery. Again, click on Network, Picture Gallery. And this is your personal picture gallery. You can share up to 20 images with other people here in BNI that they can view as a slideshow. I have my 20 full here, but if I'd like to remove one, I can click the Delete button. I can remove that. And now you'll notice the Upload button appears. If I'd like to, I can upload a new image. I click the magnifying glass to go and find one. And let's say I'd like to upload this online training logo. I give a title and a description and click Submit. And now this will be part of my profile. If you'd like to see your profile, you can always click this profile link at the bottom of any page. And now I can see my information. And again, those photos are now part of my library here. Another good use of the photos, by the way, is you can always upload testimonials here as well. So if let's say a client gave you a testimonial, all you need to do is save it as a JPEG or a PNG file, and you could upload testimonials as picture files into your photo sharing library. All right, we are just about at the bottom of the hour. What I'd like to do now is to open this up to any questions. If anybody has any questions about building VCP and BNI Connect and filling out your profile, I would love to handle those questions at this point. Keep in mind that I will be happy to stay on the call until all questions are answered. So please do ask those questions now. If you have any questions outside of this particular functionality, I would be happy to answer those questions as well. So while you guys are putting your questions in, just a reminder, this is being recorded. You can always go to the support site, support.bniconnect.com, or go to the youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. If you found today's information helpful, a good referral for me is to please recommend these webinars to your other chapter members. Our very next webinar is going to be this coming Friday in a couple of days. We're going to be talking about online slips and referral tracking. So we're going to go through the whole online slips process and how that works. That is going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. They can register right here on the support site as well as on the regional websites. So let's see, we have a couple of questions that have come in. It says, are photos public? So the photos from the photo gallery are not public. So up on the regional website, so if I go back here, on the regional and the national websites, when they find you here, the only two photos they will see are your headshot and your company logo, as well as your contact information, your address if you choose to share it, your social media links, your name, chapter, and company, your My Business description, and again, this is the TOPS profile from the Bio tab. That is all that the public is able to see. Other members will be able to see the other 20 photos that you upload. So does that answer your question, Lana? Colin says, very good webinar. Many thanks. You are very welcome. John says, can you post 2 pictures on the site? You mean on the public websites here, John, or do you mean on the internal profile? So the internal profile, you can upload up to 20 photos. In here on the external is only going to be those 2 photos. Let's see. Drew says, what general search engines will pull up BNI profiles? Google definitely indexes all of these sites. So, for example, if I go to Google and I type in Jeremy Walsh, just my name, my top result for that is BNI Wakefield. This is my BNI profile on my Wakefield page of my website. Bing also does index these sites. I think with Bing, I might be a little lower on the list, but I know that if I do Jeremy Walsh BNI, my LinkedIn profile is first here, my Wakefield profile is second, then all my YouTube videos, podcast videos. So, but definitely these sites are being indexed by all of the major search engines. So does that help, Drew? John says one personal and one business. Yeah, again, one personal, one business, one picture. I mean, this doesn't have to be your headshot, though that's what most people use this as. And your logo, which again can be any picture you'd like it to be, but most people use it for their company logo. Let's see. Rob says, what are the most common problems you find with older members using Connect for the first time, newer members? Rob, I think that one thing that I've heard a lot is that BNI Connect isn't necessarily the most user-friendly site in the world, and again, going to, let's say, the regional site, so most people will go to their regional site first, bniri.com in my case, and then really not know where to go from there. Once you do get logged into BNI Connect, again, most of the activities that you're going to be doing on a daily basis are right here accessible from the home screen. So again, directing them to update their profile and then use the slips program, which is all right here on the first page. But again, maybe if you could share this video with them, that will help them get through it. But I can tell you we have a few older members in my own chapter that were scared off by the technology at first. Once they started using it, though, they realized it wasn't as hard as they thought it was going to be. And if they're having trouble logging in, just have them send us an email, support@bniconnect.com. Once we verify their identity, we will be happy to issue them a new password if they're struggling with getting logged on to begin with. So does that help, Rob? Ed, I'm going to come back to your question in just a second. Lana says, how can you post testimonials for the public to view? Right now, we can't. Right now, the testimonials are only internal to other BNI members. This is actually in line with how a lot of other social media sites work, such as LinkedIn and things like that. You can only see the testimonials of people once you're logged into LinkedIn and once you're, I believe, even connected to those people in LinkedIn. We are talking about a possible change in the future to be able to view or display testimonials on the public websites as well. It will have to be an opt-in type of scenario. Because it's so visible to so many people, if somebody was to, let's say, post a negative testimonial on your page and that became public, that could cause a problem for the member. So we're going to, if and when that happens in the future, it would have to definitely be an opt-in type of situation. So hopefully that answers your question, Lana. Lyndon asks, do keywords only affect BNI member searches, or do they affect the public searches as well? The keywords are used in both the public searches and the member-to-member searches. So they're used here when we're using the magnifying glass. That uses the keywords. And by the way, there's also an advanced search, so if you want to search specifically on keywords, you can do that as well. And the same thing, if I go to find a member on my regional site and also the national site, this does search keywords as well, and there's also an advanced search here where you can search specifically by keywords if you'd like to. So, Lyndon, I hope that answers your question. Rob says, seems like you're going to be doing a lot of my job for me. I ask because I'm going to be the BNI Connect trainer for my chapter. That is awesome. I am so glad to hear that your chapter is going to have a BNI Connect trainer. I am happy to share all of these videos, the documents. We have walkthrough guides and educational moments and all sorts of things already prepared for you. Feel free to shoot me an email or connect with me in BNI Connect or give me a phone call, and I will be happy to share anything that you need to make your life easier throughout the year. So you can find all of this information on the support site. So again, if you just click this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner, so click this question mark in BNI Connect, that will take you to the support site. So right below where all of the webinars are listed, you'll see chapter training and documentation. Every single function here is documented with a walkthrough guide. So for example, let me just take the emailing a visitor invitation that's right here on the page. Most of them have a quick 1, 2, 3 steps. Some of them have a short video in it, and they will have a step guide by guide. So where to click, what to do, what all the different fields mean with an explanation, and in some cases what the final result looks like. So all of this, again, it's on the support site, and you can find that all there. If you need PDF copies of any of these, just let me know and I can do that as well. So does that answer your question there, Rob, as well as Colin? And I look forward to seeing you on Friday as well. So let's say Fred says, is there a way to search by category? So again, when you search by the search terms, it will search both. In the advanced search, you can only search by the top level industry. It does not have a drop down for the category, but you will on the basic search, it searches by the industry as well as the category. So hopefully that helps, Fred. Lana says, what is the VAT reference number? So if I go back to my account, you'll notice here there's a field that says VAT reference number. VAT stands for value added tax. Now, for those of you that are on the call here from the UK or from other European countries, VAT is kind of like their sales tax over there. Here in the United States, we really don't use that term at all. That's why I put not applicable in there. Whereas in other countries, it's a business law that they need to have this listed. It's not displayed anywhere publicly. That's more for the regional office to use that number if they needed to. So you can just leave that blank if you're here in the United States. All right, so let's see. Ed had a question from before. He said, an off-topic question regarding BNI Connect. Is there a plan to create an API, an application programming interface? Right now, there is not a plan to create an API. They are looking at, they're in the process right now of prototyping an app/mobilization of the BNI Connect website so that it's able to be used for on mobile devices and tablets and everything a lot more readily than it's able to be used now. However, a general public API probably isn't going to happen, at least in the near future. That's more of a management decision, and the fact that Dr. Meisner specifically said that he 100% wants to make sure that your data, your contact information, everything is kept absolutely safe, and having an API increases that risk tremendously. So the answer is it's not out of the question, but it's probably not going to happen in the very near future. Does that help, Ed? All right. Bill says, can you explain the process of giving a testimonial, receiving testimonial, accepting testimony? I do have that covered in another webinar, as you mentioned here. So if you go to the support site again, so I'm going to go back to support.bniconnect.com, And in the recorded webinars, I'm going to click on July. The webinar that you're looking for is Connections, Groups, and Testimonials. And that explains how to find people, how to connect with people, how to leave testimonials, all of that. We'll be doing a live version of that as well. We're going to be doing that one on next Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow, and that'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to join us for that, that would be great. Also on the support site, just do a search for testimonial. And there is a guide for giving BNI Connect testimonials that'll walk you through the process of leaving a testimonial for another member. So hopefully that helps, Bill. Jack, yes, correct. It is the maximum size supported is 5 megs. And I agree, that's an excellent suggestion for more descriptive error messages. All right, Ed said he has a question about the traffic lights. Yep, we can definitely discuss that one offline. The member traffic lights, this is something that's used here in our region. Some regions are using a member-based traffic lights as opposed to just chapter traffic lights. It does vary slightly region by region. So I would first have you talk to your executive director about if they're planning on using traffic lights or what it's all about or why they're not using them. I know other countries have been using them for a long time, but there's only a select number of regions here in the United States that are using them. But again, talk to your executive director first, and then I'd be happy to talk with you about it as well. All right, I believe that was the last question in my list. So what other questions do you have? Any other questions? I'd be happy to answer. All right, if there's no additional questions, again, a good referral for me is to please let people know about these webinars. Again, our next webinar is this coming Friday, and we're going to be talking about online slips. And we have a whole slate of webinars out through the rest of the month. If you're in the United States, you'll find these also on your regional event calendars. Outside of the United States, please talk to your executive director or national director, or come back here to the support site, and you'll be able to find out all about them. One final request, I would love it if you gave us a like. We are on Facebook as well, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do things like webinar announcements and reminders and tips and tricks and all sorts of stuff, and just share stories up here on the Facebook BNI Connect Global page. So please do give us a like there. And again, look for the recording on YouTube. Thanks everybody for being here. And I look forward to, oh, hold on, Colin says, please send that link. Okay, which link would you like? The YouTube link? The YouTube link, I'm going to drop that in the chat window. Oh, wrong one. And in the chat window, you should see that. I'm also going to drop that here as well. And the other link would be facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. So hopefully that helps. All right. Excellent. Again, thanks again for being here, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting.